Hello and welcome to Library Salad. Today's episode is Let's Talk Money, and it's brought to you by the Monroeville Public Library in Pennsylvania. Hi, I'm Alice, and here at Library Salad we're going to take an idea, toss some things around, and it's a little odd that we're talking about money because most people are not comfortable with speaking about money. A lot of it has to do with, even as adults, there's a couple of things that are difficult to talk about with money anyway, but that's what we're going to do. It has, through the years, had many different names to it. Instead of just money, we've got bacon, as in bring home the bacon. Bread, that was a little bit more used in the 60s. You don't really hear it as much now, but and just simple cash. The phrase cold hard cash really goes all the way back to the point where they were starting to use coins. Those coins, if someone was going to the market, were actually made of silver and gold. A little bit expensive, but that's what they were. So anyway, the thing is, with those metals, they're actually a little bit pliable, and they do get warm, so that people decided at that point, we need to change the type of metal. And that's when they went basically to more of nickel, at some point zinc. So in the beginning, you had those coins that were warm. And when they changed it, the merchants would actually say, I want cold, hard cash, because they did not get warm, stayed hard, and there you have it. Now, the thing with changing over to those types and the fact that it really could take a little bit of wear and tear, the proof in that is that these days, actual coins last up to about 30 years. Seems crazy, but that worked. And a regular dollar bill will only last about 18 months. Now, back in the days when bills had first come out, it's not something that if you had ripped or tore that you could simply go and say, you know, I want another one of these. That wasn't happening. So actually, because it's linen, it's not actually paper, people used to, if there was a rip, sew them, just like I sewed. As you know, this isn't a real dollar, okay? But I sewed this, and people think that's very odd that people used to stitch them together to keep them together. But think of it this, fast forward to these days, how often do you see a torn, whether it's a 5, 1, whatever, with Scotch tape on it? That's fairly common. So we've just upped it to a little bit of different piece, but we're still mending bills together. And before there were coins, people bartered. They bartered because they didn't actually have a standard for currency. So they would simply do bartering to exchange something that if I needed from you and you had something I want, there would be an exchange. Now, in recent times, one of the classic, what I think classic, bartering story is the actual, it's called One Red Paper Clip. A young man decided that he was not working at the time and he wanted to see, could he take a paper clip that he had and barter his way up to something really big, let's say like a house. Now, this whole point, it took a little over a year to get from the paperclip to the final barter. Now, you might say, how does that actually work? Well, you've got to make sure that each person has something that the other one wants, and it took about 14 transactions, and it went something like this. The paperclip was bartered for a pen that looked like a fish. Really nice looking pen. But anyway, so It then went to the pen for a handmade doorknob, doorknob for a camp stove, stove for a 100-watt generator, generator for an instant party kit. That was also included a keg of beer to it. And then we've got the keg and the sign for a snowmobile for an afternoon with Rockstar Alice Cooper, which went to a snow globe, which then a role in a Corbin Bernsen movie, and that then turned into eventually to a house. So he literally went from red paperclip to a house. Check out the book with that. It's actually by Kyle McDonald, and there's even a TED Talk on it. So that is bartering through the years, even up to today. Fun facts about paper. We all, not paper, we said it wasn't paper, it's linen, but for the currency that we're now using, if you look at it, okay, very detailed, okay, and being that when we take out money, it's a quick transaction, we don't usually stare and see what is on that. Well, we're going to do that today. Thank you for joining us about that. Now, what I did was I enlarged this for you. All right. Interesting thing about this is that there's actually hinting at the 13 original colonies. There's a lot of times that 13 articles in here appear. Now, for example, the 13 steps of the pyramid. We then have, I've got the fun facts here, so I'm just a little bit over here. We're going with, then we've got on the shield, there are vertical lines, 13 of them. There's going to be 13 stripes that are horizontal. So you got your horizontal, you've got your vertical. Then over here for the eagle, they're actually going to see right here is 13 leaves and 13 berries on the olive branch. And on the other side, the eagle is holding right there. You're going to see 13 arrows. So I never really knew that all of this existed on the currency. So there's a lot more interesting things on there. So what you might want to do is see what you can find. Send me a comment because I'd like to learn a little bit more, because the front of it holds a few more of the 13 items that we spoke about. So money has been changing throughout history and will continue to change. Just like at one point, a $2 bill was actually pretty common. It wasn't that strange to get one as change. But if you get a $3 bill, that's where they say, not real. Next week is a big library salad, because if anyone's keeping track, and I doubt you are, is that it's going to be the 1-year anniversary of Library Salad. That's going to be episode 52. I'll be honest with you people. When I started Library Salad, I thought I was going to be doing it for a couple of weeks. Here we are at number 52. So stay tuned for that. See you then.